Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the Emissaries of Light Earth set review. I think Earth, aside from Wind, got a lot of very interesting cards. I'm very happy with a lot of them, let's just say that, right? There's going to be a lot to talk about, so let's not waste any more time. If you guys haven't already, make sure to check out the other reviews. They should all be up on my channel by now. So, starting off with Dark Knight, 3 cost backup. The cost required to cast Dark Knight is reduced by 1 for each point of damage you have received. So that alone is pretty good already, I think. For Earth and a colorless, choose a forward until the end of the turn. It gains choose a forward until the end of the turn. It gains 1,000 power for each point of damage you have received. So this is actually like the whole Dark Knight engine, right? Up until now has been a little weird because you're forced to take the damage with no real benefits other than sometimes occasionally breaking something or buffing someone, right? But in this case, there's more value in that, right? So at 3 damage, this is free, right? So playing multiples of them will lend into the ramp up later, but then you also have this buff that like can keep you alive constantly, right? Like if you are playing multiples of them, I think this card overall will see some kind of play, I think. I don't know if essentially there's a Dark Knight deck to be built yet between the Cecils. The last Cecil was really good, I think. Deal your opponent a point of damage with the S or whatever, but this backup is very interesting. It's very good, I think. So, Amber, more soiree members. 4 cost backup EX burst enters the field. You may search for a card named Madame Adele or a job soiree member and add it to your hand. Overall, really good card. It is both specific to the Earth one that we'll talk about in a little bit, in a few seconds, or in a minute or so, in a little bit, right? And then like you can just pick up any of the other soiree members. So in this deck, this one will be run at 3 for sure. Heretic Knight Garland. Now we did talk about this one during the spoilers, but I think this card is absurd. He's going to come out full art, so it's going to look much nicer than this, but he has Brave, and when Heretic Knight Garland enters the field, choose a forward other than Garland. As long as Garland's on the field, that forward gains 4k in Brave, right? And then for 2 Earth and 2 colorless, you can dull Garland, and Garland gains cannot be broken until the end of the turn. So pretty much he's so I don't know, I just find like that a lot of these cards this set help protect other cards, right? So like we've talked about Kimari, we've talked about some of the other ones that like buff themselves with crystals and stuff like that, and then now Garland is giving someone Brave and 4k, and then Garland can just keep himself alive, right? Like so he can block and do his ability to keep, just to hold off your opponent or whatever, but at the same time he is protecting like someone else from losing their buff, and I think it's really good. Now I don't know what the best options are for this yet. I'm some obviously key pieces are really good and stuff, but that could vary, right, between deck to deck, and we don't know what the meta's like yet. And as it progresses, I think he might see some play, at least like as a 1-up, right? And you kind of include him to maybe make Roble, like, because I've been playing Roble lately, 12k with Brave. That way he's always going to be generating this, and so you have to worry about like dealing with him at that like higher attack power point, and then now Garland is just there to like protect himself as well, right? So whatever backups you're using to enable these abilities or whatever, then Roble's going to keep filtering through stuff, right? Like your Leo, your summoners, or anything like that. I don't know. That's just one idea, right? I think Garland at 1 will be useful in most decks, I think, going down the line. So, or at least anything Earth related, right? We can move on though. Aries. Again, I think I'm just going to wait for the FAQ on this one, because it really just depends on if playing multiples is actually beneficial to her. Playing is actually beneficial because that way you can have multiples in the RFG waiting to be played, and then that way when one leaves or you sacrifice one, the next one will come in on the next turn, right? that's all. I do like her as a card. I don't know, currently you'd obviously just play one, but if the rules or whatever change for her, then playing multiples will make sense. Eiko, put Eiko into the breakstone, choose 4, deal 10k. So we have multiples of these cards doing this. I really just like that she's another Earth Waft backup, right? Because we only have like the 2-drop ones and then like the Searcher. So I think just for Waft in general, having a 3-drop backup that like is removable is just great, right? So you have more Waft cards. Now I'm not saying Waft is coming back, even though they got like some new ice cards too. But they're down the line, who knows, right? This is going to be another category, another card for that category that could be beneficial. You know, Rain was still a good card for a long time, and I'm sure she will be a better card that sees play in the future. Seeran from Theater Rhythm and Crystal Chronicles. For each backup you control, he gains 1,000 power, and then S, choose a forward, deal damage equal to his power. Pretty simple. I'm not really interested. Sure, you might play it when you're playing sealed, but outside of that, I don't think much use for this card. Kieran also talked about here in the spoilers, but cannot become dull by your opponent's summons your abilities, which is good. Which is a good thing nowadays to have, I think. Yoshijin forwards gain 1,000 power, and when he enters the field, reveal top 5 cards of your deck, play a forward of cost 4 among them, and enter the field. Right, so I think he's 11, he's category 11, and Brave and 9k for 6-drop. So his value is there as a card on its own, right? Because to reveal top 5 cards and play a forward of cost 4 among them is going to be good for the most part, right? But in the Shijin deck, then he's going to hit one of those guys, they're going to search another one, and then they will have some added effect, right? And they'll be buffed. So the value is there. You know, he's cost efficient, I think, in that regard. Like, as long as you're able to hit a target, and in the case of the Shijin deck, get one back, get another one from the deck, he will definitely see some value. Again, I just have to see how it feels, right? Once we start playtesting with these cards, it'll make more sense. But he's a decent card on its own, better with, you know, synergy like that you get more value out of him, right? Because you're paying 6, you bring out one for 4, and then you search one for 2, right? That's the CP value. So you pretty much, he effectively pays for himself, right? He just nets you at, like, a lot more stuff, a lot more resources. So Gladiator, you can return it back to your hand at 5 damage. You can put it on the break zone. When you do so until the end of turn, all forwards you control gain 10,000 power and Brave. Absolutely absurd. This card is a really good closer for the game. I think, like, I don't know if some other players disagree with me, but I think these cards are very, very strong. I've said it already for each element. I think Wind one was my least favorite one, but they're all very good. And this one is this is great. This is a backup that power creps like the old Gipple, right? Like gives everybody 4k and Brave or something, or just 4k to all your forwards. But this is a reusable backup, and then yeah, you're gonna like this card, I think. Also, for me, this replaces the Titan that we got last set, because the Titan is just like whatever, right? I don't need to play him anymore, because this will do what I kind of needed to do on my turns. Beastmaster, forward. When he enters the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add a monster among them, and add to your hand, and return the other cards to the bottom of the deck. I don't know if we need more of this, but I think it's cool that it stays in Earth, because we already have a lot of those monster help cards are in Earth. I can't remember the other guy's name. Lucretius, I believe his name was like the search or recup one, and then we have good Earth monsters like Puma and things in Earth. So I just remember the good old times playing with this dumb crab in FF11. Benjamin. I don't know who this is, and I don't know what MQ means. If someone help me, please. At 3 damage, he gets 1,000 power and Brave, and at 5 damage, when he enters the field, choose a dual character you can control, break it. It's just like another, to me it seems like just another generic card with like similar effects to previous 5-cost Earth cards. I feel like every set we get a new 5-cost Earth forward that does something like this, and he's just has all their effects now, right? So it kind of omits all the previous ones in a weird way, right? Like, because he has like the damage stipulations now, so it's better in that sense, but also worse, right? Because he's not good through the whole game. He's just good later in the game when you have, because you get both of those abilities, right? But you still have to wait. So it's like, what's really the point? Cactus Water. So choose a forward, break it. If the cost to cast Cactus Water was paid with CP of 2 or less, with CP of 2 or less elements, Cactus Water deals you 1 point of damage. So you have to use 3 or whatever to pay for him. No one's gonna use this card. We can skip it really fast. Shinju is a very good place to eat if you've ever come down to Florida. The cost required to cast your job soiree member can be paid with CP of any element, and the job soiree members forwards you control can form parties with job soiree members forwards of any element. So all very good things. It's a 2 cost, so it just pretty much color fixes the deck. There's a total of like 8 of them, and they're all across all the colors, and except even the backups can be paid with anyway. So it's like the whole mannequin thing. You kind of just color fix the whole job class, and so yeah, it's a nice card to look at too. Sophie, we got a new Sophie to replace the ones that got banned. If Sophie deals damage to a forward due to an ability, double that damage. Excuse me. When you cast a character of 5 or more, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal a damage equal to Sophie's power. This effect will only trigger once per turn, right? So you play something 5 or more, she shoots for 10. If there's any buff, right? Like if you've got in a cross up or the Aries, right? She'll shoot for what is that? 12 or 14, right? Yeah, it's not bad. I think she's a good card, but we still like the other set, Sophie. So if she was Monk, it would be different, right? We could play both, but she's not. She's Wild Rider now. Terra, the category 6 backups you control can produce CP of any element. You can tap for fire until the end of turn. Terra gains power and haste. Choose a character freeze. Choose a character dull it. For all 3, you can choose a forward break it and tap her. Now, this card seems really strong, and being that it's all action abilities and Go-Go's in 6, the 6 engine just seems a little crazier now to me. Playing her first is going to be the problem, right? Because you need Earth to play her, and without her out, you don't generate Earth naturally in 6, right? I don't think there's a lot of 6 Earth cards currently out, so getting her out is going to be the issue, right? But Earth is no stranger to being able to generate multiple colors, right? Like Shantoto and Tyro, we all know that already. So it's pretty simple, and Earth just has solid colors. Being that you have to trigger fire too, this card is definitely going to run into a multicolored 6 Go-Go deck where you're playing Mist Dragon and Amaterasu's. So all in all, I think it's very strong. I'm sure there will be a deck revolving around this one. So Monolith. When Monolith enters the field, choose a forward. You can choose a forward. You control a forward your opponent controls. The former deals damage to his power equal to the latter, and then you can look at the top 2 and organize them however you want. There's cheaper ways to do this, and a monster I don't need to do this with. I don't know. Don't think it'll see play, but maybe if you need more battle tricks like that, more like fighting each other kind of things. Hades is the good one. At the end of each of your turns, you may discard a backup. If you do so, draw a card. So now here, and then at 3 damage, he becomes a forward. When Hades attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls. It gains, when this forward is still damaged, break this forward. So, so many ideas come to my mind when I see this. First of all, I remember fighting this guy underwater in FF9 on the way to the other, whatever they're called, the other Zidane people, the Zidane people. But anyway, at the end of your turn, you can pitch a backup, right, and then draw a card, right? Next turn, if you have Robo out, you get that backup back, and then so again, my philosophy is drawing 3 to 4 cards per turn somehow in your deck, and I've been using, Lakshmi and Ralbol to do such things, and, Water Earth stuff, but Having them together just seems really unfair. So I like him a lot. I think he's going to help keep up with the Atomos. And then when your forward is dealt damage, and he gives a forward. When this forward is dealt damage, break this forward, right? So you can effectively like remove something with what's that one called? Semilafina, right? It's so silly. It's going to be great. Think about it. Madame Adele, I think that's the one that she searches earlier, right? One of the ones we saw earlier. Now, this is where the piece is, right? Your soiree members, your job soiree, you control gain. If this character is dealt damage by your opponent's summons or abilities, the damage becomes 0. So, legendary status. This character cannot be broken by your opposing summons or abilities that don't deal damage. So it's a weird one, right? It's just like, if this character is dealt damage, it becomes 0, and then they cannot be broken by summons or abilities that don't deal damage, right? So it's like, you have to send them, right? Reduce them, or just like battle, like fight them, right? And when she enters, you can choose a soiree member in your break zone and play it onto the field. A lot of effects coming out of this card. Thankfully, she's not soiree, so she is susceptible to just about everything. She's on curve, right? So, and she nets value when she comes in. So, very good card. The soiree deck is looking to be playable more than the Shijin one that came out of this set too. I can't wait to see what someone does with it. When Mira enters the field, choose one monster in your break zone. If its cost is equal to or less than the damage you have received, play it onto the field. When a monster you control is put from the field in the break zone, choose a forward your opponent controls to 2,000 damage. All of these effects are terrible, and every Mira before this is better. So I don't see this being useful. Also, it looks terrible. Leonis, Prince/Lord. For 0, during this turn, the next damage dealt to Leonis by a summon or an ability becomes 0. You can only use this ability once per turn, and then S, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal them 9,000 damage. You can only use this ability while Leonis is attacking. So, just seems like a really good card. It reads really well. 4 for 9 above the curb. FFBE, Prince, so searchable. 2 jobs, so if that matters later. His ability requires him to attack, so it's just like the old Sabin. You need to, attack, and obviously before blocks or whatever, you blow things up. Or if in whatever reason you don't do it, you can wait till other abilities are exchanged and then remove forwards before on stacks, right? So I think this guy's going to go great in Mono Earth. I think Mono Earth has a lot of really good cards right now, or Earth in general has a lot of good cards, and you're allowed to play 6 Leonis now, right? Because you have this one and the 11 cost one. That just, I don't know, like I said, Mono Earth seems really strong. And yeah, being able to use that ability, choose 2 forwards, and deal 9k to things everywhere. I don't know. You can do it multiple times while he's attacking, and he has innate protection. He's pretty good. Lael, 5 cost, Brave. All forwards must attack once per turn if possible. All forwards must block if possible. Discard 1 card. Lael gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. So, I like this effect for just the fact that all forwards must attack once per turn if possible, right? Because it forces your opponent to they can't wait, right? So if you have something that's in a position, if you're in a position of power, right? If you're ahead or whatever, and your opponent's just trying to restabilize your setup or whatever, they're just gonna not be able to. Now, it's not to say that it's not gonna be the worst idea, right? Because you might have stuff, and so obviously you don't block with him first, so you want your other guys to block first, so then that effect continues. But if he's the only one, then it doesn't really work. Unless you have infinite cards to just pump him up and then use. But it's an interesting effect. I wonder if running a 1-of or something might be useful. He's searchable. My problem is his cost. He does a lot for it, I guess. He earns it, right? Being that expensive, but I don't know if it'll be worth it at that point. And then Leslie. At the beginning of the main phase, during each of your turns, choose 2 forwards you control. If you control a forward of an element other than Earth, break them. And Leslie. At the end of each of your turns, you may give control of Leslie to your opponent. So this is going to pretty much eventually take 2 forwards from your opponent. It's just something to think about. The problem is that like it gives them a CP for the turn, sort of. Maybe not really, right? Because it's at the beginning of the main phase. The only ways this doesn't work is in like a weird mono Earth mirror match, which I might not think is going to be completely impossible considering all the cool cards we just saw. But also if they have if they're full on backups, right? They won't be able. You can't pass this to them. So a weird thing to be like blocked by, right? Like my opponent is efficient. I can't use this card. Like, you know what I mean? So it's real feels bad moments. But he's a good card, I think. Playing him one of at least, or maybe even 2, right? So you draw him earlier in early game, and then kind of like set up. I don't want to say it's like Shantoda, but it does help. You know, you push momentum while reducing them. It's kind of like the new lightning or whatever. It does the same kind of cool effects like that. So it's just more control for Earth, which I don't think it needed, but it's very good. All right, guys, that's the last of him. I don't think I skipped any this time. But yeah, so for me, Garland, Terra, Hades, Leonis, Madame Adele, mainly for the you know, the soirees, but then Gladiator, of course. Like, I don't know, those are the call out cards for me. The top 5 with a runner up, maybe to this Dark Knight, or Lael, or even Sophie, right? Like any of those 3 can are tied for runner up. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know which one you guys are building. Are any of you interested in this soiree members with Madame Adele and Amber, Shinju, and all the other ones? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't seen the rest of them, go check those out too. Thanks for watching.